Hey everybody, hope you're doing well and welcome back to the Warhorse Gaming channel and welcome to part 3 of the Moonshiner Specialization Role tutorial. Now in parts 1 and 2 of this series, we covered how to start your moonshine business and how to buy the moonshine shack you'll need to create and distribute your moonshine. We rescued Marcel, your distiller, and retrieved the supplies and a wagon he needs to get set up and start making and selling product. We also talked about and covered still upgrades, shack expansions, and decor options you can buy from Maggie Fike, and briefly covered story and bootlegger missions you can do while waiting for Marcel to craft your moonshine. Now, finally in part 3, we're going to get to the good stuff. Distilling different flavors of moonshine and delivering what you've created for cash money and XP. So, let's get started with distilling. So the first thing you want to do is head over to the Moonshine Shack, go downstairs, and have a little chat with Marcel. Now once you open his Moonshine business menu, you'll notice 3 categories to choose from. So let's go over each one of these individually. The first category is the Moonshine Still Mash Required category. This category is the mash that you'll use to make your moonshine, and as you can see, it comes in 3 different strengths. Now, since you're starting out as a greenhorn distiller, all you can make at first is the weak mash. Now, you'll notice that each strength of mash shows the time it takes to make it listed in its box. This amount of time is how long it will take to brew an entire batch of moonshine with that alcohol strength. Now, my weak strength box says 24 minutes to produce, but when you first start out in moonshining, yours will say 30 minutes. Now this brewing time will reduce as you level up your moonshine roll to what you see mine is. Once you choose a strength of mash, you'll be brought back to the previous menu where you'll now see a little clock face in your moonshine still box. This clock face means that you started your 30-minute timer and you now have a little less than 30 minutes to add flavor to your moonshine. You do this by clicking on the next box labeled flavoring. Now once you've done that, you'll see a series of moonshine flavor recipes. When you start out, you only have 1 or 2, but over time, you'll be able to get all 10 recipes. Now each of these flavor recipes requires 3 ingredients to make. Some of these ingredients can be ordered from the catalog and others you'll have to go out into the countryside and gather. You also notice that they are ranked 1, 2, and 3-star recipes. The more stars, the more money you'll make from them, so always make the highest ranked flavors you have available as you're leveling up your moonshiner roll, but the trick is, always use the weak mash until you finish leveling. The goal here at first is not really about money, it's about leveling your roll so you can get better recipes and stronger mash, to ultimately make more money, but at first it's about the recipes and the XP. Making weak moonshine will allow you to make more deliveries and make them quicker, since you're not sitting around waiting on Marcel all the time. Working this way will allow you to run at least 2 missions an hour, and then running bootlegger missions and story missions while you wait will allow you to double up on your XP and level up a lot faster. The next thing you'll need to pay attention to before you choose a flavor is the buyer reset timer at the bottom of the screen. This timer lets you know how long the current flavors in the list are wanted by a specific buyer. Now you can see those buyers by clicking on the X button in the lower right hand corner of the screen. So for example, you see a flavor recipe in the list for Wild Creek Moonshine and you see that you have all the right ingredients to make it. You then look down at the buyer reset timer and it says you have 4 minutes before the timer resets. You just started making the weak mash before you started to look at the flavors and you know it's going to take 30 minutes to complete. Should you go ahead and flavor that batch of mash? No, you shouldn't. The reason you shouldn't is because you only have 4 minutes left before the buyer's reset, and it's going to take 30 minutes to complete the batch of shine. Once the buyer's reset, you may not get another request for that Wild Creek Moonshine for another hour and a half, and then you'll have no other choice but to sell your moonshine to a man named Higgins for a fraction of the price. Your only other choice would be to wait and hope that another buyer will request that recipe within a decent amount of time. What you should do is wait to flavor your moonshine until the buyer resets so you get a good price for your trouble. Remember, you can flavor your moonshine all the way up until Marcel makes the next to the last bottle of shine in that batch, so you have plenty of time to get it taken care of. And if you took our advice from part 1, you'll also be conveniently located near a postal clerk. And if you happen to need a recipe ingredient that you can order from the catalog, you can go grab that in plenty of time to make a flavor you might want. So now that our buyer timer is about to reset, Let's finally flavor our batch of moonshine.
Go on, give me a challenge. C'est agréable. Now we wait.
Now, as you can see, by the time the buyer timer reset, Marcel had already made 4 bottles of moonshine, but was far from finishing the batch. So I'm able to flavor it in plenty of time. And don't worry about the 4 bottles he already made. They get flavored too, automatically. So now that we've got our moonshine batch going, we have some time to kill before it's ready. So let's go do a bootlegger mission. Now to start a bootlegger mission, we need to go upstairs and talk to Maggie Fike.
Good to see you. Okay then. We need to win back some favor with the saloons round here. Just the way it works. We help them out, they help us out when the revenuers come round asking questions. Anyway, there's a bar near here that's having a few problems. Not sure what exactly, but I said I'd send someone over to sort it out for them. And I know what a good Samaritan you are.
Now the bootlegger missions are a good choice when you don't have a ton of time to kill because they don't take long to do. The story missions, on the other hand, are much longer and usually require a couple people to complete, especially when you're new to the game, but both are equally fun. The bootlegger missions are always random too, which makes them more interesting to repeat because you never know which one you're going to get. So now that we've finished our bootlegger mission, Marcel should be finished with our Moonshine batch, and it's finally time to make a delivery. So go talk to Marcel and start a sell mission.
Ah, bonjour. You're here to make a delivery, yes? This flavor is nothing special, but it will be quite enough for today's buyer. They are oddly sophisticated, if you understand me. Take your time. It might be an ordinary batch, but is worth nothing smashed on the road. La prudence n'a pas l'air d'être son fort.
And that's how you play the Moonshiner role. Repeat the process and level yourself up to 20. Have fun. Well, that's going to do it for us today. Hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, and be sure to click that notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.